Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the WGL EU. The extra special 3 tanks a week will be coming to an end after this playday. We'll be back to our regular 2. But speaking of playdays, we're into match week 6. And of course, I'm Lauren Pansy Scott, your host. And with me today is my usual partner in crime. Ollie, how are you doing?
Doing well. As you said, three match days in a row, 3 play days in a row. It's pretty incredible. I want to do this for 7 days a week. I'm not sure about everyone else, but yeah, it's been really good. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. We've seen some upsets. We've seen a lot of great games, and I think that's just going to continue today. Yeah,
that is certainly going to be the trend of things to come, hopefully at least. And of course, once again, Melly is sadly not with us right now. She is still tending to family issues. However, we have the one, the only, the beautiful. All right, Alex.
All right, how you doing?
Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite a build-up. I quite liked that.
Yeah,
and then it kind of went down a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like Alex. You get excited and then disappointment.
Right.
The glorious. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So, Mr. Melly, once again, I have to apologise for not being the person you're expecting to see. However, I will be doing my best to hopefully get some bit more voting going on as we progress. There is, of course, a match photo available on the Facebook page, which is, of course, facebook.com/WGLEU. So do get there and place your votes for the game coming up first, which will be Utopia versus Momentum. And as always, of course, the hashtag WGLEU to contribute your opinions and thoughts as the games progress.
Yeah, and I've got to say it, people are pretty darn active on that one, so do keep Alex busy. We've got him here for a reason. Put him through his paces. And speaking of putting people through their paces, there were some certainly tough games and some big upsets in that previous playday, wasn't there?
Well, the biggest one, of course, is where School Bus lost 5-0, I repeat myself, against
yeah, just in case you don't believe
Deep Tranquility. You can obviously check that result on eu.wgleague.net. Top player from that was definitely Kluji. It was an amazing, incredible upset, and I had a little chat with Arklit afterwards, and you know, he was saying there's some issues within the team. The team's not gonna break up or anything. They just, you know, you got to understand that most of these guys come from the CIS and the Russian region. They have an Orthodox holiday there, so they're tending to family issues, and yeah, they're enjoying themselves a little bit right now, and it didn't go so well for them.
Yeah, and let's have a little look back at that. So just in case you don't believe us, you can see it for yourselves. Welcome to the WGL EU. It is Season 5, 2 tanks in there now. Mr. Chef has fire coming from the right side. That's 3 tanks there, and that's another use for those charioteers just covering off Cap, and 3 seconds left. School Bus might cap this one out. Last second decap. Finally, the tanks are falling. The time is going to be of the essence. 7 seconds still. The pressure is on. The charioteers are being destroyed. Cap does have cover, but the move will be folding in from DTQ down to a couple, but it could be enough. 6 seconds, the cover is there. Shanish needs to hold on. The cap has been stopped. It's over. It's down to killing the opposition. There's not going to be enough time for this. They're going to have to take down the others. Well, they've got 26 seconds to do so. They have a lot of tanks coming their way. They have 3 left. Can the School Bus side catch up to them? Can they lock them down? There's still a good couple of tanks in this one, and Doctor has been found. Kluge in the middle of it, 15 seconds. Apwell lines up the shot, takes it, gets 2, but needs some support here, and Panzer Hunter is well off into the distance. I don't think they're going to find him. I think they know that. Shanish being left to deal with Kluge, and the others are going to try and focus on Panzer Hunter. 2 seconds left, and DTQ pick up another round. And that T49, I love it on maps like Cliff, but as you said, it's quite unique to that map, and well, at the moment, Doctor is dodging those shells like a champ there. Has already hit 1, 404 damage done. 13 seconds left, and School Bus are going to have to start mobilizing themselves here. Mr. Chef's dealing with this out. Nice shot comes across in the end there. And Nuclear and Armley going to start moving in. Nuclear will surely be able to land a shot, but he's going to have to make it fast. And there we have it. 17 seconds on the cap. It gets reset once, but here comes the swarm from School Bus moving in. 8 seconds on this one. Reset again. Doctor takes another shell. Nicholas Black on the front lines. You can see that IS-3 there just right at the front, just soaking up that damage. But will it be able to soak enough? 7 seconds. School Bus on the verge now. 2 seconds left. And surely this is going to be another victory in the back for DTQ.
Unbelievable.
Making it a little bit harder work for School Bus. Going to have to commit that 2-5-1 over towards the east. But while all this goes on, Panzer Hunter is on the way. Mr. Chef is buying time, getting a lot of damage done in that Bulldog. This is beautiful play from Mr. Chef coming in. And more damage. My God, Mr. Chef. Beautifully done. 2 picked up there for him. On his own, pretty much. He just outplayed Shanish. Doctor getting a little bit more anxious here. They need to make a move out of this. Nuclear is rolling off now. He's going to try and find Doctor, and he might be able to get the shot here if he commits. Mr. Chef now realizing he's out of position.
He's a little bit slow to the take as well. could be in trouble.
Could go wrong. Nuclear decks, another from Mr. Chef. Dark God's Team is still waiting here, bearing in mind. Oh, big shell comes out in the end from Doctor, I believe. And now Dark God's Team has to go into the action, has to go in the fight. He does get one on the push-off, but he does receive a shell from Mr. Chef in the meantime, I believe, if not 5:05. And now 70 seconds left. He's going to have to pull off a bit of a miracle here, but he can certainly do this.
He may be able to do it, but just receive one from the side of Hyena. Now, one of these two needs to peak. One of them needs to commit and take him down.
You've got to be the bait, and that'll do it. Mr. Chef claims it for DTQ. It would be perfect. They will have a good, solid shot towards Snake Eye Finn and Sensei, and I think they are going to commit. And here we go. First shell does bounce from Snake Eye Finn. That's going to open the floodgates here as Snake Eye Finn is under pressure. Already receives one shell, and no crossfire coming in, but Killer Pit takes a huge hit from Message, but he receives one back. So a bit of a one-for-one exchange so far.
Well, this is not going well the side of WSD Gaming. At the moment, DRL are really putting the pain on, but WSD Gaming is responding.
And Wilkie will be back in the battle now, has reload available. Further fire will be coming in on that cross, but he has pressure from the 5100s. Starting to come up that 1 and 2 line, but tanks are starting to fall. A 2-for-1 exchange. Honor and Agorni go down for the sake of Kirex. Was that worth it?
Not at the moment, and at the moment, DRL have better positions because they can sit back, they can put the tanks for a lot of HP forward and not be stuck in an awkward position, but you can see the AMX 5100 is pushing Wilkie, and that might give them the crux.
Yeah, Wilkie is down pretty low, 383 HP right now. He could be a bit of a troublesome figure, but Agenti making the split, and actually they're hammering it home. Nervac still on a lot of HP to Killzor, waiting on shells to be available, but Wilkie tries to push in, gets punished for it as Yuhu and Snake Eye Finn make their time to shine, but the 5100 from Nervax coming around the back, doing sensational damage, but will it be enough? Yuhu is still in this game. That 5100 around the back of Agenti has to go big or go home. It's 3v1. I don't know if he can do this. He has all shells available. Let's see if he can turn the table here. 2 minutes remain for WSD Gaming. Agenti comes in. He's got a good shot on all of these guys. Gets one, receives a shell, should back away, but he's going to stand and fight his ground, and he gets denied.
It will be about that middle area. Can they decap? It's very hard to decap from a Haki to Killzor, Nervax, Honors, and Killer Pit's positions, but you need to get it from both sides. Push through the middle and come from that 3-4 line position and get this on the way. They've got 7 seconds to do it.
Well, they got to get moving fast. 6 seconds. This could be over before it began, and no reset in sight. 3 seconds left. WSD Gaming, what are you doing? Stop giving the game away, and DRL might have just done enough. They've done it. This is a bit of a brawl very early on.
Haki's going to have to try and keep Agenti back because at the moment he's doing some great damage from the side, but Nervac's winning against Snake Eye Finn, but Snake Eye Finn has managed to get himself around, and we might see the push on onto Message by now from WSD Gaming.
And it wouldn't be a bad idea. He's already down low, but do they have that real sustained damage to take him down? They've received even more than they've given, but finally the kills come in. Message actually goes down first. Killer Pit's left on 1 HP. He will fall, but further fire comes in, and Snake Eye Finn will join Message in the grave. This is going from bad to worse for DRL. They need to start pulling it back, and they've done just that. 4 tanks down now for WSD Gaming. This is incredible.
They just really turned on the heat, coming from left, coming from the right, just doing some great damage. Jack has to try and get out of there. Corrects there and support, though. Nervax does fall, and the Killzor's going to have to try and do some real work here. A lot of the tanks are down low, but Wilkie with that T49. Big damage,
destroyed him,
and he does go down.
There we go. Here's the cross hack. He gets a massive amount of damage, but he's still alive. He's still flying through. He does go down, but Snake Eye Finn on a whisker of health. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but where are the others? Where's the backup? Nervax out on a limb. Sensei has cover. Kirex has the high ground. This might go wrong for WSD Gaming.
6 tanks actually up there. Honor's actually flying in, and they're going to have another brute force from the top.
This is unbelievable. The brawl continues. Another will fall for DRL. Make it 3 go down, and suddenly WSD Gaming are back in this one. 3 now remain for DRL, and they're falling like flies. Wilkie and Message, the last 2 standing against the near entirety of WSD Gaming, and that has surely sealed the deal to get on towards match point. Perfect play coming out from WSD Gaming. I really still can't believe what we saw with DTQ and School Bus. And I've got to say it, I think we all know by now, I'm a fan of School Bus. I love the way they play, but to see them lose like that absolutely broke my heart. But then again, DTQ played out their skin there.
They played very well. They upped their game, basically. We all agreed after that. I mean, it wasn't a perfect performance from them, but they stepped it up to a new mark we haven't seen from them before. Not just on a team basis, but an individual basis as well. I mean, massive props to Kluji for doing some great damage. Doctor also stepping up for his team as one of the new players joining in just in the second half of the season. Especially with the M40, the M43 on steps, he did some good resets there. So, fantastic play all round from the whole team.
And you can imagine the difference this has made now towards those rankings as the team who were at the very bottom managed to beat someone at the very top with a clean 5-0. So looking at this one here, you can already see DTQ have got themselves finally off of that bottom step and got ahead of EPS. Not what I expected to see.
No, EPS are second place after, the Season 4 online phase. So, from second to 12th is a big step down for sure. The other game was WSD Gaming versus Dream Leprechauns, and a very good game indeed. WSD Gaming looked like they had done more work and put more preparation, did a little bit more good snap decisions as well, especially on Cliff with that push down from the middle area. It was just a really good play, and they definitely deserve that third place spot right now.
Yeah.
But GG well played. We'll see today as well. We won't see them today, but they have a chance to actually go up and take them off their throne in the next match day because they are sitting on 10 points.
Exactly, and this is going to be crunch time now. That top 6 is getting extraordinarily close, and I think it's, as much as you can see there in the points, it's about today's games. And let's actually start looking at the 3 games we have coming up for you today. As Alex mentioned earlier, we do have Utopia up against Momentum first. Following that, Wusa up against GG Well Played, and TCM up against EPS. So 3 very different games, but all really focusing on getting into that top 6.
Yeah, my bad. We are saying today. That's my fault. But
there's been a lot of World of Tanks.
Yeah, it's been a lot of GG Well Played.
There has been.
Of course, they won 5-0 against Momentum yesterday. And TCM EPS is going to be interesting. A little bit of a grub match for sure. We've seen them play against each other a lot of times. Now, Utopia Momentum is our first match. We haven't seen Utopia since the Christmas break. Yep. Last time they played, it was against their arch rivals in the Polish community, Evil Panda Squad. Did manage to best in there 5-3. And of course, we saw Momentum play yesterday, and that was a 5-0 scoreline to GG Well Played. I think that was actually a Monday. All kind of merges together. But just looking at that, they're gonna have a hard time here, Momentum for sure. And we look at those roles. Players, of course, Utopia is pretty much a stacked lineup. Momentum's had a few issues, but they've also got some good players. I love Free Kills play. Bernergy also coming in was good. Captain Rube doing a good job there. Manza also captaining when he has to. And we haven't seen Utopia, so it's good that we see them today. Potomaka, we love that guy. I mean, he's fantastic. He's an MVP for their team, of course. McMoney, we've seen a lot of before as well in the various Polish communities. Just an all-round good lineup. I'm going to be looking towards, for instance, Shellshocked to see if he can deliver in those AMX 1390s, because he's been kind of sitting in the middle of the road in terms of performance. Yeah,
I want to see him start stepping up, and I think Potomako is certainly someone to keep your eyes on in this sort of a matchup between these two. But bearing in mind, rankings this one, they are fairly close. It's 7th against 10th, so in theory, this should be quite the close game, even though it may not feel like it sometimes when you read those lineups out. You'd say, well, Utopia, big team, getting some very good results against some very strong teams. They had quite a tough run at the beginning of this season, so I want to see how they may fare now against equal opponents, if not ones they should best. It may get to see if they maybe get a little complacent, or if they keep that sort of mentality in check, which I'm hoping to see them keep in line. But let's start talking about maps as well, because we're going to start looking at the first map at least coming up very soon. What are we going to be seeing?
So we're going to be seeing Muravanka first, and it's going to be Utopia defending. And then we're going to be seeing as a second map, Prokhorovka, where Utopia will also be defending, so Momentum will be on the attack. Okay. So 2 maps we haven't seen a lot of. I mean, we've seen a lot more Muravanka than Prokhorovka, but we've been seeing a lot of Steps and Cliff and Ruenberg over the last couple of days. So it's going to be good to have a little bit of change of scenery and see how the teams have kind of evolved through their tactics on that one. But we will be starting on Muravanka. We've had a couple of interesting matches on.
We've had some phenomenal matches on this one. A lot of creativity shining through from brand new teams, really. And these two, they may not be completely brand new, but as a collective, they're still fairly new to this season. So look and see how these guys come into this one. I do believe the teams are ready, so we can start looking at getting into game, and we can start looking at the tanks they may be bringing to the battlefield as well, because we saw some new tanks kind of being toyed with. The Charioteers, they're coming to play for School Bus. What are we seeing this time around?
Seeing more of a standard lineup, I believe, from both teams. I like to see the T69 being played. But it is going to be Momentum starting from the north, so the attackers, and Utopia, as I said, starting from the south as the defenders. And just a mixture of T69s from Utopia, AMX 1390s, the 5916, and of course the 251. So kind of taking a leaf out of WSD Gaming's book on the defensive side. They're liking those high firepower, high burst damage potential tanks. The T69, of course, providing that utility. Whereas Momentum, they've gone for the T54 lightweight, which is fast, which is agile, and pretty much tanks to complement that agility, the 251 and the MX 1390s.
Yeah, and if you're going to put your money on this one, where would you place it right now? Looking at the tank lineups now, first map, and nice opening shot there, Bishu receiving that one. So where are you putting your money on this, at least this round?
I would expect Utopia to be able to take it. They've got a more proven track record this season. Yes, they've had a kind of mid-season slump a little bit. They started off very well, and they kind of got themselves back into it when they played Evil Planet Squad and managed to win that one. So I'm expecting them to take it. I would say 5-3, 5-2, probably 5-2. And of course, Muravanka's going to be very pivotal, but I think it's all going to be won and lost on Prokhorovka.
So, the map after this one. So we have to see what they can bring here, maybe warm themselves up, get into it a little bit, kind of find their footing. As you said, it's been quite the break for at least a couple of these teams. They haven't really had that much of an official game to play until, well, right about now. So maybe that couple of weeks break refreshed them, brought them back fighting. Certainly DTQ took that sort of spirit. Oh, we're 5 minutes into this one now, left on the board. There isn't too much of a play being made yet from Momentum, but we are starting to see that play towards the northeast side with the 251s and the Bulldogs making a bit of presence towards the east.
Yeah, they might well, I think they're going to be putting a couple of tanks in that southern cap, but you have got the MX 1390 and the 5916 down there. The presence from Utopia basically is quite flexible. They got some tanks behind the hill, so they can make the shots off, but it will not matter. They still have to actually commit into the cap to be able to stop it. Yes, Hugo will be able to do some good spotting, and if he can, it'll be great for his team, but the T54 lightweight Trackis, one of the best players in Momentum, is going to be very hard to deal with, as he is going to be able to go hull down, and I'm not sure if exactly his best bet would be go left and to go towards where Hugo's position is a little bit hull down, defilade there. He can pop himself into. If he sees it safe, then he'll go for the aggression. I mean, you can see that Utopia hasn't got any artillery, and Bishu's also received about half HP, so he should be all right.
Yeah, and let's remember how much damage Agenti, I believe it was able to achieve in this sort of position. A little further forward and a little bit more aggressive, but he really did get some magnificent damage done in the previous playday. Trackis has avoided the first shot coming out. I believe that was from McMoney. So already doing quite well. You can tell these shells are pretty darn close, however. Outrun just about avoiding that one as well. And a second shell shock, just letting him fly at the moment. Outrun was spotted, so he does get himself away and out of this one.
You can see the mobilization up north now. Momentum's trying to get themselves together and maybe go for a little bit of aggression. Trackis receiving quite a lot of heat. Managed to get away okay, but no, he's down to 476 HP now. So I really want to see Momentum start acting decisively. Those 251s are being a little bit too slow to the chase. They should be putting pressure onto Utopia sniping tanks when they're shooting, when they're reloading, and they might be able to do some good damage to kind of help their team out. But now they're going Bernergy to the right, 251 still a little bit late. Manzalito free kill in the kind of middle village. And honestly, you know, eventually one of those shells is going to connect onto Trackis. Two of those shells will connect onto the Trackis, and he will fall. So, you know, Momentum's a little bit on a clock right now.
Yeah, 2 minutes and 44 seconds left. The real clock is certainly against them. And as you said, Trackis being in that position is not exactly one you can get out of too easily. Once you commit, you're kind of there. And being on his HP pool, around 476, it's not great. He will get taken down. And I've got to say, the amount of damage being received by Momentum without actually making a real play is quite worrying. Manza is being denied a peek every time. Wilk there just laying down fire after fire, and it's doing the work. And Momentum just seem lost for an answer. Trackis there going down to a one-shot now. They can commit for the shot if they fancy it. And bearing in mind, while all this goes down, Momentum have very rarely even got close to making a move.
No, they haven't. I would have thought they would put some tanks in the cap and then send all their northern tanks, all 4 or 5 of them even, and just collapse onto Utopia at the same time. And as long as you get that execution right and you get some good damage, you know, you just do the standard things you expect from these top teams, that will work out, and they'll probably be able to walk out with some sort of result in this first round, or at least a good inkling of how they want to play this one forwards. But at the moment, they've received a lot of damage. Yes, they responded with a little bit of their own. I mean, Wicked, Bishu, Shell Shocked, and all received a shell here, but it's only a shell or two, and it's not really going to give them a huge advantage. 1 minute and 27 seconds left. It looks like that Southern Cap is now the biggest option for them as they are mobilizing towards it.
Well, they're going to have to make an exponentially fast play here. With 1 minute and 17 seconds left, the defending side can still split a 2-5-1 up that west 1 line and just get the hell out of there if they feel it's required. However, that south side cap will be able to getting underway once those Bulldogs get into position. But at this point, the time is running out, and Lito taking a massive amount of damage very early on, taking another. This is massive already. There's a couple of tanks already down to a one-shot, and you're seeing them being taken away one by one. Lito goes down. Road is left in the middle of nowhere. Trackis as well falls, and it's Utopia systematically breaking down momentum, who hesitated on the push, but now the cap is ahead. It needs to be reset eventually. Burn and Freekill trying to buy the time here, and now on the flank, Wilt will come in with Potomako on cleanup duty and get the damage dealt. The cap will no longer be an option, and it's all down to trying to stay alive for the defensive team and get rid of those attackers.
Mac Money is pretty much soloing Outrun and Manza right now. Manza does fall, leaving only Outrun in that M41 Bulldog, and he will pretty much be worm's meat within a few seconds' time. Mac Money is on reload, so of course he won't be able to do the honors, but Wicked in the 2-5-1 will, as they do collapse on, and that will be the first round going to the Polish team Utopia in quite some fashion on the defensive side. So good game by them. They weren't pushed to their limits, but they didn't really make any mistakes, so GG.
Yeah, I think it was a lack of play coming out of momentum there for me. It was very passive. It didn't quite have the decisiveness I was maybe wanting. And as you said, it wasn't really much of a victory for Utopia in that. It was just kind of like, let's sit back and chill it out. Yeah,
I'm not sure what their exact idea was.
Yeah.
Because they put Trackis, well, we can see this push on, but this was like the last-ditch attempt for momentum, but it was kind of like...
1 minute left.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit too late to the party. And you can see those T-69s were just ready and waiting. The amount of damage they managed to pump out within a few seconds is absolutely astronomical, and... momentum really has no answer for it. Look how quickly Road falls. Burnergy will be next within a few seconds time. You know, these T-69s have 4 shells and 240 average damage each, and that really does start adding up, especially when you consider how quickly they can fire. But yeah, I mean, you know, momentum sent Trackis over to the left side, but I'm not exactly sure why he was there, because they didn't do anything with that information. Of course they know where Utopia is even before that anything begins, as long as they're not in the south. So Trackish being over there, he was just waiting to die, essentially. As soon as he was there, they should have used him as a distraction, put the M41 in the cap straight away before Trackish takes a lot of damage, and then send the tanks from behind and try and focus out those T-69s as quickly as possible, or try and take them out from a kind of a long-range brawl, because you're really not going to win those close quarters encounters with them.
Yeah, there was I just feel a lack of play coming out there, and it's a bit of a shame. I think there could have been a lot more done. As you said, I felt they put Trackis in that position for the sake of putting him there almost. It's like they've seen it before. Yeah. They feel as though it's a standard position now that you have to play, and they didn't really know how that's meant to complement maybe an extra tactic or an extra layer there. However, hopefully into the second round they can adjust and fix that one up a little bit, because they really do need to. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a clean and very quick game. Not too bad. We saw a great one of those yesterday, but not yesterday, the day prior, but you know what I mean. I don't think it'd be quite to the same standard of DTQ taking down School Bus. It's a little bit closer. But overall, obviously, guys at home, do make sure you keep using that hashtag WGLEU. We do want to hear from you. We love it when you get involved, and we love those Photoshop pictures. We do now have it actually framed in our office, if you weren't aware. We will take a picture and prove that to you later down the line. So thank you for all of those submissions. It is great. But do use that hashtag to tell us your thoughts on this game so far. What do you make of the plays coming out from momentum? What do you think of Utopia? Are they looking like they're still in form from prior to that seasonal break? However, I think we are ready for that next round. What's our prediction coming into this one then? Are we going to see a more decisive team or more of the same?
Well, clearly we want to see a more decisive team, a decisive tactic from momentum. I think they might have learnt their lesson right there and then. But Utopia look very strong. They look like they're on form. They've obviously been doing some training between the Christmas break. So I think Utopia should be able to hang on for another win here on the defensive side of Muravanka. And it looks like they're pretty much doing the same tactic again, pushing from the south, heading up in towards that left side. Hugo and McMoney in the MX-3090, 5916 in the same position, and then kind of putting those T69s below the hill. Similar start as well from Momentum, pushing over quite a lot of the map, trying to get some map dominance, going for some initial damage if they can, and just find out, is Utopia going to the left side? Are they going to the right side? Are they going for a cheeky tactic like we've seen before from other teams? And once they have that information, they can start building something and hopefully be a little bit more decisive than last time.
Well, we certainly hope so. There's issues aplenty with these so far. We'll have to wait and see how they fix this one. McMoney there, as per, in the background, but certainly a stand-up player. Polo Mako, another big player to keep your eyes on in this. Certainly someone that I'd put down as a regular MVP. We'll have to wait and see if he certainly shines today. He can do so, mostly on the attack, I feel. We see him coming into his own on maps like Steps and such, but at the moment we are seeing a little bit more of at least an indication of decisiveness from Momentum. Taking time, but looking like they want to get Manza to a good position. They have not put Trackis down to the south just yet. He's still up in the northwest, so maybe holding the position a little longer. However, we are seeing the standard hold now coming from Utopia. They've seemed to be quite comfortable with. And are they still with those T69s as well? I think they are. Yeah,
they still got the 3 T69, played by all their top players. Of course, Mucker is their team captain. Bishu, what a fantastic player he has been in previous teams, previous Polish teams. And Shell Shocked as well, been performing quite well. I said at the beginning, no, I want to see him step up. I mean, when you're in a team with McMoney, Poto Mako, Bishu, you've got to start shining because it can get pretty hectic, and you don't want to crack under that pressure. But at the moment, again, Momentum sitting back, looking for that kind of way into Utopia's defensive lines. And the one weakness of those T69s is the accuracy, and I guess the second one by default is the aim down time. So that's where they need to be exploiting. Manza has gone south in the Bulldog, and he's going to be looking for something here. He's not going to spot Hugo. He's not going to spot McMoney in the AMX-1390, so they're probably just both behind bushes. So they'll have to shoot to actually find anything. But Potomako and Wicked, once again, receive a couple of shells. Shellshocked also received a shell from that Bulldog. So at least for now, Momentum seem to be winning just in terms of HP.
And it's a good start. Polo Mako actually being on the receiving end of a lot of that damage. It's certainly a target you'd want to be focusing to an extent, knowing that player individually. But still, defensive team not under too much pressure, but I like the way the 1390s and the Bulldog are focusing down towards those T69s towards around G3. A little earlier on, they were a big issue that had to be overcome. The 251s looking like they might go for a bit of a challenge here, and they've certainly found one there. Lito and Outrun going to be getting the fire down. Let's make sure we head on over towards seeing what they're getting up to. Road in the background, keeping eyes across, but the fire is coming in. Hugo taking a bit from Manza and Outrun, and this is a lot better work from Momentum.
Yeah, this is good stuff from the Manza. Team captain of Momentum is doing some great covering fire, some great damage. He's not getting spotty as well. Now the pain is coming towards him though, as Shell Shock, Bishu and Mucker all let one shell fly. Lito also stopping Hugo in his tracks, literally. Road in the background also trying to help out there, but that's what we want to see from Momentum. Pressure, and then forcing a move from Utopia. That was Hugo going forwards, and that was the 3 T69s going back. But the problem is, it's still only an M41 Bulldog. It only does 150 damage. Yes, 1.5 KV hit or 10 shells, but it will take some time. They haven't really got that much left, but we are seeing now the move. But Bunny G's off to the left, so it's probably going to get caught quite quickly, and this could be very bad news for Utopia.
Yeah, bit of an individual 1v1 down to the south there. Hugo on the run. He's going to try and stay alive. Manza focusing, but up in the north, we're seeing those T69s now cresting the hill. Shellshock does take a couple from Road in those northern lines, and maybe the slightly more aggressive Utopia is actually really struggling here. They're not getting the damage yet, but Muka, Shellshock, Polomako, and McMoney starting to make the play on the west side, round that 2 line. But the hills and the covering fire from Momentum is working. Oh,
this is defensive play. Oh, no, I didn't actually. I thought they were going to go to Bernergy. I thought they were going to go try and help their teammates, but they're actually going to go for the cap because they can see that Utopia out of position, especially with those slow T69s. Well, they're not slow, but they're certainly not particularly quick compared to the 251. So this could be bad news, as I said, for Utopia as they do try and flank around. I really want to be looking at the 251s McBunny, but Potomako and Wicked to try and stop this one. They have got quite a lot of time to do it, but great covering fire by Momentum right now.
This is beautiful from Momentum, placing themselves around the H4, H5 area, and they're just locking it down. They're going to make it very hard work unless a long shot comes out, but we know those T69s do not have the most supreme accuracy, so it could be an issue, and Shellshock getting caught there. 10 seconds on this one. We're seeing I think a 2-5-1 split on the west. I don't think they're going to make it back in time. I think they know this. Bishu's going for a last-ditch attempt, but that east side, the 2-5-1's breaking in, maybe a final shot. Oh, beautiful play from Potomako, just about resetting it, and he had to sacrifice himself for the greater good, but can now the rest of his side come up with the rest?
But they're still going to go on the cap, and Lito is probably going to be able to go. Mako's going to go down here, so it should be okay still for the Momentum. 12 seconds left till they cap it. 3 tanks remaining for Utopia. Wicked, Shellshock to McBunny. McBunny's next on the chopping board as he does try and flee and maybe go for a second recap.
They're certainly trying it, but with only 2 seconds left, it looks like Momentum found their way back in. Pick up round number 2. But that was such a different team we just witnessed there. Momentum night and day from round 1 to round 2.
Everything they wanted to do in round 1 seemed to have translated into round 2. They had an idea and they O-turned it. They made it work for them, and it was great to see.
It was.
I mean, first of all, the great play was Manza in the M41 in the south, putting pressure onto those T69s, exploiting their weaknesses, and that forced Yuko to go forwards, which wasn't great because then McMoney in that MX-3090 couldn't support that well, and then Lito doing a fantastic job against these T69s. Manza and Outrun going into the cap, forcing Utopia to go forwards, but I think this was the mistake from the Polish team, pushing those T69s around, getting into an awkward position, and that allowed Momentum's free kill Lito to basically cut them in half, cut the map in half, and stop them from being able to reset. So great play by them, and Utopia, they tried their best to try and make the best of a bad situation, thinking that Manza would just be able to constantly pester. And you know, that's what happens when a team like Momentum can put the pressure on them. They can really break teams very quickly.
It was actually very impressive stuff. Looking forward to maybe what they can bring later on the rest of their attacking sides. However, they will be going on to the defensive side now, so it's their turn to try and weather the storm. And what do we make of Utopia so far? It's been, you know, a little bit of a hard one to judge because the first round, there was little to no play against them. The second, it was quite ingenious. So where are we marking them so far?
I think the first round was really good for them. They didn't really make any mistakes. I mean, they didn't get a lot of pressure on them, but they played well. Second round, I thought they made one bad decision, which was a T69 push. They might have lost it anyway, considering the pestering by Manza, but I also think picking 3 T69s in the second round was a little bit unnecessary. I think they should have gone for the 251s because it was obvious that Momentum would know and would have learned and adapted from the first one. So I think they need to be careful with their tank lineups, try and go for something a little bit more versatile, but all round, it's still very even between these two teams. It seems to be about the team that executes their tactic correctly and, you know, which one steps up to the mark in that particular round.
Yeah, and obviously you guys at home have been getting involved with those predictions. And Alex, has anyone on Twitter using that hashtag WGLEU got it right just yet? Or at least on the right lines, should I say?
I mean, there's a overwhelming Utopia support.
Okay.
So, in fact, I haven't seen one prediction that doesn't favour Utopia so far. So, you guys at home heavily favouring Team Utopia. We've got a lot of 5-3s, a lot of 5-4s. And so people are definitely expecting something from Momentum, but it doesn't seem like there's anybody thinking that Utopia are going to be bested here. Well,
maybe if there's a couple of people out there who do want to get those predictions through, I think they need to get themselves on Twitter and maybe speak up a little.
Yeah, hashtag WGLEU, guys. Do not hesitate to get in contact with us, and I'll be reading all of your tweets. And if it's good, I'm sure it'll be read out on stream as well. So do get kind of tweeting during this next game, and hopefully we'll have some fun in the next break.
Exactly that. He's told you how it's done. So quickly now, looking at the tank lineups, we'll be seeing obviously a switch of sides. Has everyone decided to switch around things here?
Well, it looks like Momentum's going for what we normally see or thereabouts on the defensive side on Muravanka, kind of 251s, even a T54 lightweight in there. And really the same kind of thing from Utopia, but with a little bit more AMX 3090. So I think for me, I prefer that quicker lineup on even the defensive side. Maybe like a T69 or 2 would do some good work in that defensive side, but still you want to be having that speed on this map. It's still a map where you have to react very quickly if a team does decide to go for that southern cap.
And I think we saw what happens when you don't react too
Yeah.
quickly. Round 2. So going into round 3, they will have swapped sides. So now on the defense and attack will be switched around. We'll have to see how this comes into effect. I liked seeing those T69s in play. I think they struggled on that round number 2 just because of the positioning alone. They didn't really get into their comfort zone and making those long shots, as you said, near on impossible at times in those tanks. So let's see what we have coming into this one. And let's see what the plays are. The teams are ready. And into this we go. In the north, in red, it will be, I believe, Utopia. In the south, in blue, it will be Momentum on the defense. So, switcheroo now. What do we make of it so far?
You can see straight away that these teams have a different kind of tactical philosophy. Utopia, one big pack of tanks going into the eastern, the magic forest as it's so called. Not so magic anymore though, because it's penetrable thanks to some great changes to Muravanka. And a similar start to what Utopia did though on the defensive side on this map. Left side towards the base of the hill and also in the southern area, the T-54 that this time not the 5916 taking that spot alongside an AMX 1390. And I think, you know, it's clear to me that Utopia has thought, okay, Momentum's biggest player and their best player, and altogether the best plays are towards that southern cap, and we have to do that. Immediately Hugo going left, he's going to be going to the same position. His counterpart in the previous round was in Trakis, and maybe find some targets for the whole of his team who are in that forest.
I do like the decisive play from Utopia, though. It's a little bit of a difference to Momentum, who suddenly woke up in that second round. But then again, Momentum seem to have completely just woken up from now on, since they are making quite the play up towards the west side. 251 splitting further ahead. And it's become a bit of a strange matchup already. It's looking a bit more like Prokhorovka back in the day than Muravanka these days.
I'm wondering how it's going to work out as well. You know, Momentum's really spreading their tanks thin. Yes, they have kind of map control, and a lot more map control than we see from a lot of defensive teams, but got to be careful that Utopia doesn't take advantage and make a gamble which would work out correctly. Those tanks, the 251s, are heading down towards the middle area now. They're also going to be careful because the MX 1390 and the 251 sitting in the bushes. The damage has come in the way of Momentum, not really connecting, but it will do if they don't be careful. 251 has been spotted and McMoney does let rip.
Can they keep it up though? No real damage actually connecting just yet. It's a bit of a miracle considering how many shots are being flown out at the moment. Muka does get spotted down towards the south side. It's the first time we're really seeing this map played out in this fashion. We don't generally see this much of an east and west split through it. The 251s still in the west side in a bit of a regular position, but it's pretty interesting so far. Muka does take a shell, so a little bit of damage coming their way, but not too much just yet. And with 4 minutes and 18 left, there's still a lot of time for adjustments to be made in this.
Now, the tactic is obvious for Momentum to win this. It would, of course, be pushing up the A line from A1 to A8, and then pushing into the Magic Forest and basically catching Utopia by surprise. But the problem is that would mean that they're, as a defensive team, going offensive, and that could not work out for that well. Also, Outrun getting spotted in that 251 does give Utopia a good idea where they're going, and you can see immediately they react to that. They head through that forest and start heading north, thinking that they can catch out Outrun, thinking that they can maybe find and surprise one of the tanks for Momentum. If they can, and they can get that tier 8 tank advantage, they're going to be in a very good position to win this one. And that's what Muravanka is about. It's about pushing into that forest, pushing up north again, and trying different angles and trying to dupe the other team's tanks into positions they don't want to be in. But that 5916 and that T-54 lightweight, both good hull down tanks. Turret armors are pretty significant. They are still near that southern cap, so they will be able to get in there pretty quickly if they want to. Ooh, Outrun.
Ooh, Outrun's going to get absolutely destroyed here, but he will get at least all the information coming through. Everyone's spotted. Potomako waits for reload, gets it. Big damage done. Outrun's surely going to go down here. Actually, just about making it away there, using the Deflate, the tank with a lower profile. But there we go. He gets caught from the side. Fire coming through from those 1390s, and Potomako now going to look for a little more. He took at least one shot, takes a second from Burn, but all in all, a nice advantage carved out.
Yeah, Outrun, we really saw that one coming against Outrun from quite a few minutes before he did get killed then. So a little bit surprising he actually managed to get caught out there. 59-16 in the south, in the east I should say, has been spotted. So the jig probably is up for Momentum.
Just a touch.
But the MX-3090 and the 251 are heading towards the left side, and I think they do want to take out that 59-16. They're worried that the cap can be on the way, but they are kind of a little bit scared at the moment. And Utopia is really putting the pressure on it right now, and they're doing some great damage. And honestly, I really find it hard how Momentum can actually keep this together and keep those stitches tight.
Let's see if they can. This is going to be tough. As you said, it's not an easy one to keep all together, but at the moment, Shellshock's pretty low, Potomako pretty low, Bishu there, but Wilkin looking to make corner. Lito's in the corner fighting out with Muka, and that's a big pickup there coming in for Muka. He's going to get the 2-for-0 exchange now. 2 tanks down for Momentum. This is going to be a very hard one to stop that cap out in the south.
Yeah, we want to see how Utopia can actually finish this one off. They got 2 tank advantage, which is more than enough. Man hasn't even got an autoloader. They do have to come from multiple angles. They're still waiting for Shellshock to come off that reload. McMoney's doing some great pressure, caps underway with plenty of time to spare for that 59-16, which isn't spotted, which is behind that bush, and I think one more tank is going to be heading that way. They just need to keep Momentum at bay, and that's what they have been struggling with, as they've taken a lot of damage for their care. And McMoney is going to have to try and alleviate that a little bit.
Yeah, and I do want to keep our eyes on Trakis and Burn. They are trying to make the play down towards the south, and I don't know how well they're going to be able to keep hold of this one. Trakis getting a lot of shots on the cross here. Maybe one more shell will put him down, and it does. Burn now, the last man on the run. He's going to have to hit the shot. 5 seconds left. He's got to make this. He's taking a lot of fire. He lands it. Shellshock takes, but still the cap is on. Beautifully done by Burn. Under pressure, getting the clutch on the go. 2 still in the cap, but this is going to be a close call.
Ooh, it's only about 1 second between the cap going down on the end of the battle. I'm not sure if they're going to make this. One more reset will do it, and Momentum have done a great job to come back into this game, as Rogue does finish off another tank, and I honestly think they'll be able to reset. McMoney hasn't got the reload before, but free kill, and Bishu's in the equation.
Bishu came into the cap circle. Let's see if they keep this going. 4 seconds left. They've got to be cautious here. It's going to come right down to the wire. One more shell will reset. He lands one, but it's not going to be on to the ones capping. Beautifully done. Utopia just about claiming that in the final seconds.
That was a great foresight by Bishu to get actually into
just
the cap
powered in
within a couple of seconds left. And that,
my God.
I mean, I think they would have been able to cap it in time anyway, but it would have been very, very hard times with free kill and that MX-3090 coming charging in. So, you know, that's why Utopia is such a great team. They really do know what to do in those situations. I mean, it was a dodgy move by them anyway, because they went for that cap and they didn't go for the kills, which I thought they should have done, considering they had Momentum in a corner and they also had 2 tank advantage. They lost that tank advantage because they went in the cap and they almost paid for it.
Certainly a close one then. Literally down to the last couple of seconds. You guys at home, use that hashtag WGLEU. Let us know your thoughts on that play, and let's have a look at it once again, because this was getting very close at one point. Burn making this play, though, was absolutely huge.
Beautiful shells by Bernergy onto Shellshock. I mean, of course, the 59-16 has most of the cap in the background, but still that was necessary to give free kill a chance to reset.
Yeah, it was so well done in the end. It's under pressure as well, let's bear in mind. That was not an easy situation to be in, with, you know, every single turret looking at you to get you out of the game. He handled the pressure and he came up good. Sadly not good enough, but still, round number 3 coming up. Is this the score? Round number 4 coming up. Counting is hard.
It is.
Is this the scoreline we expected?
It's going pretty. I mean, I think it's going
probably on a 1 second win. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's that was a very close game. I think it could have gone either way with you know, just a couple better decisions by Momentum, and if they hadn't lost those 2 tanks unnecessarily. But Utopia looks stronger right now, not by a lot, maybe like 5, maybe 7.5%, but very obscure number, but I'll give it to them. A little bit better than Momentum, and let's see if it translates into Prokhorovka. Of course, you know, Momentum only has to get 5% better, though, to actually be able to draw this scoreline up right now.
That's the big thing here. It's such small margins in these games that at the very top, it doesn't take a lot to decipher the very best from the very worst. But between these two, they are very close in the rankings. We're seeing that in the gameplay being shown right now, and I think the teams are almost ready for the final round of Moravanga. So let's start looking at what we've got going down in this one. Does it get tied all even, or will it be broken ahead by Utopia? 2-1 currently being the scoreline. Utopia leading after a nice performance in that previous round. And let's see what's coming into this one. So far in the north in red, it will be Utopia. In the south in blue, it's Momentum. And look at this play.
Taking a leaf out of WSD Games.
Yeah, someone watched that back.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope Momentum doesn't fall for the same trick twice. And if they do, then they do deserve to actually lose this one.
Yes.
The 59-16 is flanking around. And the best thing Momentum can do right now is just hang back and wait. Have good positions. Play the same kind of tactic they used last time, but just don't lose those 2 tanks, which they did.
Yeah.
And they'll be absolutely fine. Don't chase on Hugo PL. It's only a 59-16. It doesn't do any damage. 85 per shell. And yeah, you can see immediately Hugo's just wanting. He's just wanting to get spotted. He's wanting to pester and annoy.
Tasty bait.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who doesn't want to kill Hugo as he kind of makes himself very obvious to the enemy team? And to be fair, if he doesn't be careful, he could just die and not give anything to his own players. So
yeah, I was about to say that
it can backfire pretty quickly.
Could easily cut him off, and he's not going to be able to escape anywhere or draw anyone towards the north. And at the moment, I kind of see why. There we go. He is spotted officially now. Trackis turret turns, but I can see why, because last time around, Momentum did play a lot towards the north and the west. On the west side, so it does kind of make sense, but let's see what Hugo's got here. Being spotted, he's still hanging around because he does want to draw people in.
Yeah, you can see immediately Momentum actually reacting. Last time it was Outrun going up north, but this time I believe it's Road or Manza in the 251 actually heading right up there, and Manza, the team captain, could be in a lot of trouble any second now, but he does play a little bit more cautiously than we saw from WSD Gaming, so he might just about get away with this one. And of course the jig is up for Utopia. Only 2 shells heading Manza's way, and it was clever of him to play just a steady game and not go all in.
Well, interesting choice. It kind of didn't work out for Utopia, but I guess at least they had to try it. And I see Momentum has learned from their errors as well. Always a bonus. But let's see what they can do now. Let's see where they take this play, because Momentum has taken a little more damage, but not by much. A very small margin there. Hugo taken down maybe 2 shells, maybe 1. And Manza receiving 1 on the way through. Trackis makes a shot, doesn't find anything. But at the moment, it's about re-establishing yourself on the map for Utopia.
This could be pretty risky now, actually. Momentum's heading all towards the south, going to take down Hugo PL. Going to actually take that bait finally, and it has given Utopia a good amount of the map, and if they do take advantage of that, Road will be out of the equation. Outrun will not be able to outrun the whole of Utopia, and he will fall, but Hugo is up next.
He finally got the attention he wanted, but can he handle it now? 3 tanks staring him down. I think he knows this is over. Trackis comes in, takes him down, and that's the first kill coming in for Momentum. But look at this play. They're going to be pushing in a bit of an anti-clockwise fashion, working their way down from the north to the west to the south, and it looks to be working for Utopia. They're in the cap circle, and they push Momentum out.
Exactly. This is exactly what they should be doing. Shellshock's also in a great position to actually put the pressure on Road. Utopia, Momentum clearly wanted to actually use Road as a kind of northern cap safeguard, but it hasn't worked out as the pressure is coming on from that Polish team. Caps on the way will force Momentum to make the next move, and they only really got a 59-16 and a little bit of damage onto McMoney for their trouble. McMoney almost gets taken down as quickly as that, but Muka is the right tank for that situation, is going to be taking over his position there.
Yeah, a nice low profile, can just keep it locked down. Not all cap time, but I like the positioning coming out from Utopia. However, Trackis and Manza able to make shots towards where Muka is, but Wilk just keeping Outrun Lito further back, but it's teetering on a knife's edge here.
I want to see that 251 and the MX-3090, which are heading in towards the middle of the map, are going to do, actually, because they have to kill that 251 over towards D3, D4 area if they want to make this one happen, because at the moment, so much damage has been done to Momentum that they might just lose this one. This free kill is getting in the equation, and we're seeing a lot of pressure onto McMoney. And Hugo, ooh, just about gets away from that one just by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, Muka though might not be so lucky this time around. He's off reload slower, but free kill comes in, gets his teammate down. Muka just about alive. Outrun down to a one-shot. Shield shocked, wants to claim it. He does, but at the sacrifice of his life. And now 4v3 in favor to Utopia, but time is of the essence and it's running out. Can they claim the final 3 now with equal numbers?
Tracker's trying to stay alive as much as he can. Potomaca though in the background, doing some damage with that 251, and at the moment Momentum has to try and get themselves together, take down Bishu, make it a 3 versus 2, but they can't. Trackers does fall in the T54 lightweight, and it's definitely in favor of Utopia to take this one. Wicked might just fall, and he does, to some fantastic work by Manza.
But now the problem is that they're pretty far away here. Utopia are on the attack and they need to catch up with Manza and Burn. What tanks are these two in? They've got 1390. What's Manza in there?
Manza's playing a 251, so a very quick tank
yeah,
indeed.
so they both can make a run of this.
Yeah, well, Potomaco also gotta be careful here. As you said, Utopia are on the attack, so they've got to win this one, and you know, Momentum's done a great job to kind of get back into this game, thanks to Bernergy and Manza, and Bernergy's still got a lot of HP, a little bit less thanks to Potomaco, but honestly, they're both one-shots, and with 1 minute left, I don't see how they can take this.
Yeah, they've certainly lost the edge here. This looks like it's going to be a 2-2 scoreline going into the second map. Let's see what Bishu can pull out of the bag. Maybe going to try and work a miracle, but Burn did find his teammate. Now Bishu, the last man alive, I think he knows this one's done and dusted. And, well, does a shot towards Manza, gets a second, but not going to get a third. Manza lands it, and Momentum are back in business. 2-2. And that's not a bad first map.
No, not at all. Very even Stevens all around. I still maintain that I think Utopia could have done a better job, and they, I think, a little bit better than Momentum in many respects. But Momentum, you know, coming back from such a hard situation was awesome stuff. Just that kind of play in towards the left side and doing enough damage to Utopia that when Utopia managed to go forwards, that they could just be picked off and everything could be kind of reset, and they could get themselves a chance, basically, going into the second map, which will be, of course, Prokhorovka. But, you know, this is the push that really defined it all. Free kill did a good amount of damage to Muka. He also takes down McMoney there, so that's a nil for one exchange. He does fall, but look how low Muka is. And Trackis and Bernergy just coming in, and as you know, Trackis, Bernergy as a collective, just what fantastic clairvoyance and precision playmaking for them to do that. And you know, I have to give them credit for that one for sure. And they just have to carry on doing that kind of thing if they want to progress and actually beat out this Polish team.
Well, 2-2 being the current scoreline, it's all about how you guys are thinking this one's progressing, and the man with all the magic, Alex, how's it going down?
The magical man, that's me. It's going well. We're going to have another poll to have everyone vote for where they think the next game's going to be going. So, of course, the game that's going to be coming up, which is GG Well Played versus Wusa.
Yep.
I'm impressed. I got that right.
Well done.
Yeah, so that's
memory.
Thank you. That's going to be coming up next.
Ollie didn't even know they were playing today.
Start playing placing your votes now. It's a link you'll see. It's going to be tweeted, which you'll be able to obviously get to our Twitter, which is twitter.com/WGLEU. So get on that, find the link, and start voting. We'll see. We'll be able to show you where kind of the viewership lies, the passion lies for GG Well Played and Wusa game coming up next.
Damn it! You put passion on this show. You said it.
Hashtag passion.
You broke it.
Hashtag passion. Is that a word I can buzz
No,
with?
no hashtag hype, no hashtag passion on the show. It's illegal. It's banned.
Okay, I'll stamp out the passion for the next segment.
Yeah, no more passion.
Okay.
All right, we've told you you should know better. All right, Melly, you need to calm down.
Okay,
All
deep
right,
breaths.
good.
Mr.
Nice.
Melly needs to remain calm.
All right, I like that. Okay, so you guys at home have heard it there. Do make sure to get yourselves ready for those votes coming up on Facebook. We want to hear your thoughts and how the community's feeling about the two teams coming up. But still, we still have at least one more map to play out, maybe two if it goes all the way. And we'll be back after a very short break. And welcome back to WGL. We are about halfway in, I'd say, towards the first game. It's 2-2 so far. It could still go to a further map, which then would ruin my halfway mark. But still, hopefully you don't go to a third map, just so I sound correct. But we are into momentum against Utopia.
Intro, but
Exactly. Don't mock me.
Sorry,
all right.
we'll leave you there.
All right. Just because Melik's not here to pick on you.
Yeah.
We didn't
Usually
really get
I'm
Alex
between
up.
two very
what?
nice people.
Yeah, nice
As I said,
people.
you don't see the kind of cattle prod they have underneath here. From
You said you liked it.
I got hot tongue on the left my leg and the cattle
Hot
prod
tongue on the left.
and then the hot cattle prod on my right leg. Doesn't go well, but that you should have seen that way from Alex. It was
Please do it
absolutely
again.
fantastic.
What are you talking about?
That's the creepiest
I thought you were
laugh
describing me as a hot tongue. I was like, hello.
That is
Well, clearly
That's probably the campest thing I've ever done on
I
stream.
think you really
Twitch chat
was.
disagrees, so
Yeah.
Ouch. Oh, the pain of it all. The pain of it all.
It's brutal.
Ouch. But what is our next map coming up?
And next
Before we
map's going
go
to be
way too off.
let's leave this this area.
At least till game number 2.
Yeah, exactly, and then at least for another 10 minutes. But it's going to be Prokhorovka.
Okay.
On the northern side, on the defending side, it's going to be Momentum, and on the attacking side, it's going to be Utopia, the Polish team. 2 apiece, as you said, after the first round of Moravanka, but another open map, so I guess these guys have warmed up into that kind of whole way of thinking about the game. Tank lineups also in. Looks like Utopia's going for something a little bit heavier, but you still got T32 on the side of TCM Gaming on the side of Momentum. So it's names are hard, which is is actually the hardest thing about this job. But the T32s are going to be very hard to deal with. And I mean, just a little bit of history from Utopia. They've won about half their matches on Prokhorovka so far, which is not particularly bad, but they could have done better.
Yeah, it's certainly worth, keeping in mind. We'll have to see if they live up to that sort of percentage, and let's see what we're starting out with.
Wouldn't be great, because we'd move on to our third
final map. Yeah. So hopefully they can, overcome those boundaries. However, a unique start from Momentum, kind of getting caught out a little bit here.
Both of them got caught out
Actually,
though.
I didn't see a Will
You could
got
see
hit
Wicked and
Bishu as well.
Bishu received, Wicked received 2, Bishu received 1.
Huh.
You can see clearly that, the thing about Prokhorovka is that middle area, in my opinion, is easier to get from the south.
Okay.
Utopia is like, screw that, we're not actually going to deal with that at all. We're probably going to take some damage, but we're not going to have to get obliterated in that middle area. And we're just going to come from a different angle, kind of like a more TCM-esque, more Kazakh-esque heading towards the left side. They got some hull-down tanks there, and see if that can work out. And Papa has actually joined in instead of Hugo playing that 59-16 right in the southern corner. He's going to be actually going straight across the map to join the rest of his team. And it looks like Utopia are really tempted by that northern cap, which is, at the moment, held by Outrun.
Well, let's see how this goes. This is a bit more of a classic way of seeing Prokhorovka played out. Before we saw it kind of divulging even to the primitive times of just headbutting on the western side. But that seems to have been adjusted. We're seeing the kind of 2-2 split, 2 up to the north or 2 to the south for the blue side, which will be defending, aka Momentum, with that nice T32 slap bang in the middle. So it's a nice composition, I feel. And what do you think Utopia can really do to break this? Is that west side cap up in the north an option?
Well, I think Utopia's waiting for Papa to get into position. I think their northern cap is where they want to go for that, west side cap, because they were basically holding the line, and then when Papa was near, they basically follow suit and go towards where he's going. McMoney's just scouting up north in the light tank, but he's going to be trying to, just make sure there's nothing too dodgy out there, and maybe even do some damage with his own. It's letting a couple of shells rip in that MX-1390, and at the moment it looks like Utopia has a plan, but Momentum are doing some good responsive damage.
Yeah, I like this play from Manza already, getting quite up close and personal. He's getting all the information, and he's right on their heels. He's quite a decisive player, so to be fair, Momentum should have a very good idea where Utopia is going to be, just because Manza is able to scout out so well, so far ahead.
Ooh, Shell Shock just receiving a shocking amount of damage, down to about 25%. Bishu also trying to get some of his own, and they need to do that just to get into good position. Papa started the cap as predicted, and the defensive lines have been drawn by Utopia, and they're basically saying to Momentum, yes, we've received a lot of damage, but we are here to stay. It's on you to make the next move.
Such a hard cap to hold down, though. The time obviously being of the essence, but there's so little cover there. But we're seeing that it looks like a southwest push coming out from Momentum, looking like they want to get back into this. But Money is going to be on the front lines there. He's going to be the one receiving with Potomako, trying to defend off Papa. As the rest of the fire comes in, Bishu's still alive, but Potomako gets caught by 2. Burn with Manza. Going to be peeking up and over. Road does come in, but well, Utopia, they're losing HP by the ton. Bishu goes down, Shellshock goes down, and Potomako takes another. These tanks are just crumbling right now for Utopia. The plan has been decimated by Momentum, who managed to hold their numbers.
They're doing a great job of just keeping Utopia at bay and basically going forwards and peeking and killing tanks whenever they want. Wicked is trying to do some damage, but he's not really able to do enough to keep his tanks in the game. McMoney, the next one to be pressured down to about 10% HP, but he is going to stay alive, at least for now, with one tank, with 1 shell left in that autoloader.
See if we can do anything with it. It's going to be a tough one here. Utopia down to so little. Papa's gone. And it's gone pretty badly wrong here.
And look how much the HP Momentum has. You know,
It's
Tracker's
huge.
on full HP, free kill near enough. Lito is as well in that T-32. I mean, I think the 3 tanks from Utopia might just be able to take down that T-32, let alone all the rest of the other tanks. And let's see what he can do. Might just want to finish the rest off on his own. He does crest that hill. Going to be going probably for McMucker, and he is actually using the 105mm there. Sometimes we see the 90 for the quicker reload, but clearly they want that real damage in not particularly quick succession, but you know, big amount of damage in a short amount of time.
And Momentum claim it in a very swift and solid victory, I must say. That looked like they had the plan locked down from the start then, exactly how they wanted to overcome the opponents.
Yeah, and they predicted what they would do every single step of the way.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious. I mean, the whole of Utopia is over towards the left side. Papa was going down south. I mean, I don't think they knew he was there, but when he was flanking around, he got spotted, and then it was obvious for Momentum that they were going forwards into that cap. And then the amount of damage, and this was a big thing, the amount of damage Utopia received actually trying to get in that northern cap was what lost it for them. And it really just allowed Momentum to flank around, take down Potomako, take down Wicked, and just collapse on pretty much the whole of Utopia. And they really didn't have an answer. I mean, I don't think they did anything particularly wrong. It's just a little bit too obvious of what they wanted to do.
Yeah, and it was so quickly worked out. I think that's the big thing. As soon as Manza pushed forward, as you said, it was pretty much a sealed deal then. And that's the kind of theory behind World of Tanks, that you do have to be careful with how much you give away and how obvious you make your plays, because these teams, if they know exactly where you're going, where your positions are, you'll be destroyed so quickly. So nicely done there, coming out of the blocks onto the new map. Do you think that can be repeated, or do you think it'll be adjusted?
I think it's going to be adjusted. It's quite interesting. Both these teams seem to be doing not so great on the first round, and then pick it up in the second round. We've seen that a little bit in this 754 mode, which is of course what we're playing on. But yeah, I think Utopia, they're going to be a little bit more dynamic. They're going to try new things and not really kind of go for those obvious tactics so much. But Momentum looks solid on this map, and it's clear to me why they would pick it up in the first place, because they are a very, very strong team indeed, and they looked a little bit weak on Muravanka, but they're in a great position now to bring it 4-2, and then potentially win one of those attacking rounds. I mean, it's obvious that the attacking side is very hard on this map. I mean, we saw TCM Gaming lose 4 rounds in a row, back to back on Prokhorovka, and it does show that a team that isn't patient, that doesn't want to sit there and make clever moves, will get punished for it.
Well, it's going to be a factor coming into this one between these two. Such a close-cut game. Get those predictions onto Twitter using that hashtag WGLEU. It's always good to hear from you. It keeps Mini Melly busy, and that's what we like to do.
I don't think Mini is really the right word, but
I'm trying to be flattering. In the south, in red, it will be Utopia. In the north, in blue, it's going to be Momentum. And there's a sad, sad Mini Melly in the corner. However, what are we seeing from the tanks this time?
So T32s times, pretty much the same actually from Utopia, both the same pretty much. And I think that's probably because they don't want to give the game away. You pick a whole new lineup and you're kind of saying, all right, we're going to do X, Y, and Z with it because it's fast or it's slow. Picking the same doesn't really give the team anything to work on, and they have got themselves into that southern city very quickly. You can see Utopia clearly wants to change things up. The 59-60 on the hill is going to be very pivotal. It won't do a lot of damage, but it'll pester. And this is the thing, from the south, you have to get that city dominance very quickly. Otherwise, the other team will be able to just peek over and just nail you. Shellshock and Bishu are going straight for Lito.
Yeah, they're going extraordinarily far forward here. I'm not sure if this is the best of ideas. If Road and Burn can be kept back, however, it will give them free reign over Lito. And it's depending a lot on those teammates, the likes of Wilk and McMoney, and they do manage to pick up Lito, so not a bad way to kick this one off. However, Bishu does receive a lot of damage, and once again, Utopia are soaking up shells here.
But McMoney is actually going to try and take down Rhodes on about half HP, and I think he might actually be able to do it. If he doesn't be careful, Rhodes also going to have some tanks coming from the left side. McMoney does finish him off, but Bernergy wants to get in this game, and still I think the positions are better from Momentum. But free kill, what is he doing? He's in no man's land up the northern side.
There?
Outrun is not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage in that Hellcat, and 3 tanks down. It's looking bad for Momentum, despite the fact that they've done a lot of damage.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how this one turns around now. As you said, 4 tanks on the board, 3 removed for Momentum. They do have slight advantage on HP, but with every shell that lands, it changes hands. But free kill finally gets found. He managed so little damage in such a position that was just in no man's land then.
Yeah, he was low, and you don't want to be low in an AMX 3090. It's such a small tank that you don't have any gun depression or gun elevation. It's a really horrible situation to be put in any tank, let alone that tank. So Manza on the hill though, he might be able to pick up Wicked or McMoney who are on one-shots. But this is the game of Momentum trying to peek and make a couple of shells and run away again, because at the moment Utopia, the Polish team, they hold all the cards. Bernergy is spotting for his teammate Manza, who's trying to do some damage, but Bernergy's on his own, and Trackis is not really in a great position to support him. So you'll see Muka, you'll see Potomako charge over and take him down.
Yeah, no crossfire is going to come in time here, and Burn might just get caught as these two do crest over that train track. Burn, keep your eyes on that left side of the screen. He may just go down. Here's Potomako on the hunt, full HP as well, and this is why we make him such a player to watch on occasion. He's able to maintain the HP, chase down Burn here. He should be able to get him down in one. He does receive one on the way through, but that's going to create a huge gulf of difference now between Utopia and Momentum.
Trackis is going to fall. Manza left on that hill. As you said, a big gulf between these two teams right now. 4 tanks left for the Polish team Utopia, 1 tank Manza left, kind of on his own, in a great position, but a little bit too late to the jig, too late to the party. And he's might gonna have to try and run away. 3 minutes and 30 seconds, that's an eon of time in this game to cap. That's what Utopia's gonna do, and forcing Manza to try and stop this one, come out of hiding, and then they're gonna use Potomako, who's in the middle, to chase him down. Or he's just going to track himself.
Not exactly the smoothest move, though. I like when the cameraman even keeps moving and then he just halts. Like, oh. Smoothly done, Manza, but off you go now. 30 seconds, it'd be a clutch and a half, and it's not exactly an easy cap. He's going to have to crest over the railroad where you've got Potomako waiting and then 3 others to find. I worry for him here with 20 seconds left. I don't think he's even going to
21 seconds to go, is it? No, 20 seconds.
Let's see how solid this decap's going to be. There's 12 seconds on the board. If he even gets 1 shot to this, I'll be impressed. He's received 1. I don't even know if he's going to be able to take anything here. I think he knows that as well. And that's the beauty of this game type. You get forced to make the plays, and he is moving in. But I think he knows all the dodging, all the serpentining in the world will not change the result here, as Utopia will be picking up battle number 6 as Manza will finally fall.
Yeah, bring it to 3 apiece now. 2,040 damage done by Potomako in the end. Fantastic round by him. Manza, though, I mean, he really did carry his team there. 2,056. But the problem is, Road only did 268. Free kill only did 50 damage there, and that's the problem. It didn't really all do their lion's share. Lito going down very early on. I thought he could go down. I was surprised he actually lived for so long, and I guess he was unspotted. But that's the thing. Utopia, they wanted that village, and they took that village, and they didn't stop until they had it.
Alrighty, so I like this play. I actually did. I liked seeing that Utopia took some sort of control, which is quite nice. I like that they actually decided to not let the other team just kind of steamroll over them. It was a good adaptation there, so at least they're a thinking man's team to at least this point. But scoreline-wise, is this any inkling of who's going to break ahead? Because we're still neck to neck here.
Well, the thing is, on the first round, Momentum played very well to take down Utopia, and then the second round, when Utopia made that decisive mood move, it's the best kind of move, but yeah, they managed to win it. So it's back and forth between these two teams. It's extraordinarily close. And I can't say I'm too surprised. It's these guys have been on top of their form and definitely going to be close. Still, it's going to be Momentum's go on the attack, and now Utopia is going to be defending. And Utopia just needs to defend twice in a row. And I thought, looking at Muravanka, they were slightly more competent on the defensive side than Momentum were. I thought Momentum could get pulled apart a little bit too easily, and I think the same could happen here on Prokhorovka.
Well, it's certainly going to be an issue and something to keep your eyes on. However, something that someone has been keeping their eyes on is Twitch chat. How's it looking out there in the world of, the depths, should I say?
I'm in the depths of Twitch chat, and at the moment, people are being quite pleasant to both teams.
It's
the World of Tanks Twitch chat. It's pretty good.
We're just seeing a lot of kind of momentum exclamation marks, 5-4 to momentum from Mafia Lad. Basically, in fact, if I move over to Twitter as well, everybody is saying 5-4, 5-3, and a good one from Dave Tomley actually saying heading for a 5-4 the way both teams are playing, but it's hard to predict which way.
Yeah,
I think that's a really nice way of just kind of summarising the games. You're saying exactly that as well, that you don't know exactly which team's going to take it, but at the moment it's pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah, one team will start advancing forward, and obviously then the next team just has to catch up, which does seem to constantly happen. But if people do want to get further predictions, thoughts coming through to us, how can they do so?
So if you guys are interested in playing with us here in the studio, you can go on our Twitter page at WGLEU and use our hashtag WGLEU as well. We've got some fun things going on Facebook as well. We've got a nice vote for your MVP of Matchday 5 or Matchday 6. It says Matchday 5, but that's a porky pie. So do go over to the Facebook group and you'll see more, a little drop-down box, and you'll see MVP. Do click that and vote for the player you think is the strongest in this current matchday. Or is it over the entirety of the match day? I think
yes.
Yeah, so in the games to come as well. And other than that, of course, though, guys, you can vote for which team will win in the coming game, GG Well Played versus Wusa. So check that out as well.
Yeah, lots to be done there, many social media avenues to be explored. But until that point, let's actually start looking towards the game now, because the teams are already there into the server. And let's start rolling out, because this is going to be once again another tough situation. We are neck and neck here, 3-3. Back in we go in the south on the attack. It's Momentum in the north. On defense, it's going to be Utopia.
Beast from the east, Papa, is in the M44, so good to see that. He was so good on that tank on steps. And, I shouldn't say tank, I should say self-propelled gun for all the nerds out there, including myself.
You're not above this.
I'm definitely not above it. If he can hit those shells, it's going to be fantastic for him, and you can see immediately the difference between these two teams. Utopia wants to sit back. They want to be playing around Papa the whole time, using a couple of offensive spotters, Mucker, Wicked, and Shell Shocked, but really not doing very much and just using that time to the best of their abilities. They're saying, okay, Momentum, you're probably going to be able to break this defense. It's probably not as easy to play this defensive move, but it's going to take you so long to do it that you won't have enough time to actually execute properly and win.
Well, let's find out. I want to see how Momentum do this as well, because they've been quite decisive. And we're actually seeing the Charioteer back in place, something that we saw picked up by School Bus not too long ago. And actually, I'm not sure who's playing that one right now. I think it might be Manza, quite possibly, for Momentum. We'll have to keep our eyes on it. Already Wilk taking a shell, and that was delivered by Charioteer. Yeah,
that's exactly what you want it for. It's a great tank for those sniping shells, tier 10 gun, 390 damage, and not a lot of HP to play around with, but a good hold down tank nevertheless. I would love to have that tank on this map. Problem is, if the M44 does hit its shells, it will take it down very quickly. Lito's a little bit on his own, but he has got support from behind. Utopia now actually go on the offensive, using the M26 Pershings to try and crest that hill to go hold down and just to keep Momentum at bay constantly, and then maybe even land a couple of shells with Papa's brilliance, but still pretty even at this point in time. And I have to say it, I mean, it's looking like Utopia has all the answers, and that M25 is going to go down very quickly for an outrun, as he did try and get as far forwards as possible, but
ouch.
Might have just spotted Papa. No, he hasn't. Lucky him. He is in that defilade in the corner of the map.
Yeah, Papa just about remaining unspotted here, and Outrun is desperate to find out where this guy is. Still unspotted, but Bishu certainly isn't. And there we go, Outrun does go down without gathering the information maybe he was looking for.
Well, he knows Papa's in that corner now. That's
Close enough to, yeah.
That's a good thing, but I mean, it's kind of obvious where he was in the first place. For it, they had a shell onto Bishu from Manza. I'm pretty surprised that he didn't do a little bit more damage. I don't think you actually have Hesh ammo in that one, so clearly not going to be able to do the 480 you can on the normal version of that gun. Probably didn't have enough space for the slightly bigger cartridge. But again, Momentum not really being able to find a way, and Potomako did receive quite a lot of damage, and I think the best thing for them would be to use that right side, or maybe even to push in onto Potomako, because on the left and right of that, there really aren't that many tanks. You can kind of sit there without being shot from many tanks, or maybe even just push that M26 Pershing, or kill Mucka and then shoot those M26 Pershings from behind.
It looks like the 251 and 1390 coming out for Utopia towards the center of the map might be trying to find maybe an angle towards that 1390, and maybe the Charioteer as well, as Potomako certainly looking out for Burn. Burn has been caught a glimpse of now. One shell has come in, not Potomako's, however, probably from one of the 251s, but interesting enough to be spotted around this marker. Burn does make it just about away, I'd say, to safety to a degree.
But Manza has got to be careful. Papa, Manza's on fire. He's going to be very, very lucky if he gets away with that one. But Potomako continuing to hit those shells. Free kill, also a free kill for Utopia right now as he does push in.
Let's see if he can get it. And Potomako, Bishu on the hunt there. Bishu actually going to be chasing down Burn. Let's see if he can pick this one up nice and cleanly. That's what he's looking for. He's seen the shot come through. Turns the turret, gets it. 2-4-3 done. He needs a lot more though. 1-for-1 support comes out from the Pershing. All that 251s in the hands of Potomako. And now Momentum start really dwindling in numbers.
Manza, the biggest damage dealer, has gone down. Burnergy as well, and AMX 1390 was on his own. And at the moment, Utopia, despite the fact that they're defending, actually have a better offensive position. I'm surprised Wicked and Shellshocked haven't just gone and challenged Trackers. That 251's turret can easily be penetrated by that 268 penetration by the T151, and they do just that. So again, tanks taking damage for Momentum. Leto trying to do something, but received a hell of a lot this time from Papa.
Yeah, Money looking for it. You can see he's tempted to go for this one. Leto so low, he might as well, and cat and mouse begins, but the cat certainly has a lot more HP in this aspect as Money gets the support from Papa and co. You're seeing the damage coming in. Trackis, Road, and free kill, the last one's alive. Oh, beautiful shot from Papa. Just destroying Trackis, Road, and free kill, last two. It's over and done with. This is the 4-3 scoreline. Utopia looking solid.
Yeah, looking much better than they were on the offensive side, and Shell-Shocked receives one from free kill, but that gives his position away, and maybe even Papa will be able to get this last shell out, and no, I was
hey, he probably would have had it if he didn't get killed there.
Yeah, he would have got that one. That would have been a sensational shot, especially considering the range, but just all around solid.
Yeah, it's so swings and roundabouts with these guys. Sometimes it's so close, and others, they'll just have a strategy that just works, and they just pick it up, but they're on match point now, and what do we think of Papa in the artillery there? Because he actually seemed to do really well. Do we know how much damage he did?
Yeah, let's have a check of how much damage Papa did there. I don't think it'll be a huge amount. I mean, 500 damage is okay.
It's not substantial, but he did enough, I feel. Yeah,
I mean, he did enough, and he also tracked a couple of tanks. But the thing is, I mean, what Utopia basically did was go offensive at the right time. They didn't stay in that northeast side, in the northwest side. They went out, they put the Pershings behind those train tracks in the perfect position, in the perfect time, and that's what won it for them. They knew when to move, and they knew that they had to be offensive at some point. And once that MT25 went down, thanks to Papa and Bishu, that was then their time to move, and they just did it perfectly. It was just a well-executed, a well-trained tactic.
Well, currently match point now sitting in their pockets. Let's see if they can take it all the way through. One more round could decide if we go, obviously, to another map, or if it's one right here, right now. And the difference is that you get a lot more points by winning clean out, and you deny anything for the others. And bearing in mind how close these two are, one sitting in 7th and one in 10th, is a huge difference here. And I've got to say, overall, though, looking at the start of this season, Utopia were a force to be reckoned with. They were one of the teams who came in and surprised us all. And seeing Momentum being able to get this close, I don't know who slipped or who stepped up in this. I'm not sure where it's at right now.
Momentum's been up and down. I mean, but Utopia, you know, they came to the season and trashed Deep Tranquility right at the start with a 5-0 scoreline.
Yep.
Everyone was like, whoa, who are these kids?
Guys? Yeah.
Who are these new kids on the block? But they aren't so new. They've got a lot of experience in there. But yeah, I mean, if history goes like the rest of this match, then Momentum will pick up this next round. It'll go 4-4, but I still, and our tiebreaker map, by the way, is of course Moravanka, as it was yesterday. So if that does happen, then I'm not sure who's going to win it, but technically it should be Utopia because they would have lost the next round and it would have gone forwards like that. But I just feel right now that Utopia is just a little bit better. They are getting better as well. I think 5% on Moravanka, now 10% on Prokhorovka, and I think that might just give them the edge on this potentially final round. Lineups are staying the same, but this time Outrun's actually going to be picking up the M44, so no MT25. Instead going for an artillery, which actually I was thinking in the previous round would have been a good idea, because those Pershings, for instance, were quite static, and that's what they can exploit with the artillery.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it come into play again. Papa did give us a good display before, taking one down in the cap circle, tracking a couple and just doing the general damage with nice complementary play to come alongside that. I'm going to find out if that's going to work again coming into what could be the final round of this first matchup. We still have more to come today, 2 more to be specific. So obviously not over just yet, but you guys at home do keep getting involved on Twitter using the hashtag WGLEU, and also go on Facebook, facebook.com/WGLEU. I'm taking his job because, you know, why not? I don't know how long the teams want to take. Alex, actually, do you want to tell us how to do it? You know?
I mean, I can.
Yeah, go on then.
I mean, I can also talk. You know how you just mentioned beginning of season 5?
Yeah.
We had a fantastic comment from, and it's a very tough name for me. I'm going to go for it. Imprezovi Kotek.
You butchered that. Yeah, that was really good. That was really good.
But he said at the beginning of season 5, Utopia were at the top, winning, whereas Momentum was losing badly. Now they compete like even teams, and I thought that was well. I mean, admittedly it was what you said, but a good outlining comment from Imprezovi. Imprez, thank you
We'll
very
give you
much.
the rest of the show to perfect that.
Okay, yeah, I'll work
That
on
is your
that. Anyway,
task
you were
of
talking
the
about
day.
Facebook. I should probably continue about that. Yeah, so do be sure to check out facebook.com/WGLEU, and you have to start voting for your MVP. You need to see some more votes for that.
Righty, guys, you've been told, get to work, ladies and gents. It's time to see these two teams work. Let's see if they're going to pick it up in this match or if it's going to the decider as we are live into the server. Let's find out what's going down here. 4-3, and there's a beautiful skyline. Utopia sitting with match point in their pocket, and they will be starting in the north in red and in the south on the attack in blue. It's going to be Momentum.
So with the artillery, they basically couldn't go left because they get caught out. They could get caught out.
Yeah.
It could get spotted, so they have to go right this time. Pretty much the same as what Utopia did the second time they went on the offensive. Same start, at least from the Polish team. Utopia, left side. M26 Pershing going as well towards the left side. The ED3-4 area going to be going hull down, see if they can find anything. They won't, so they'll have a good idea. Okay, they're on the right, and that's where the kind of slowness of them could get them in trouble, because Lito in the 251 is pushing forwards towards Muka, and maybe, you know, to be fair, Momentum can just sit in the cap with a couple of tanks and force Utopia to make the first move.
Let's see if that comes into effect. Obviously, Muka was there, peering across in the 251. But, you know, Lito can just go and match him pretty much, stopping an easy peek. However, do you think it's going to be those Pershings that can be a big effect in this if they do keep trying that cap out? Because they have a little bit of sustain.
Yeah, they will. They will be a great asset to stop the cap, because they can just peek over and make the shells. I mean, the mantlet is penetrable, but it's pretty strong. And maybe, Muka just receives the big shell.
Jesus Christ.
Really stepping up for his team outrun. I haven't seen this guy in artillery before, but, you know, Muka stopped for a second, probably to just direct his team, and got immediately destroyed for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage going towards Utopia, and as much as I'd love to see them win here, they've taken a beating. Muka, as you mentioned, down solo, 507 already. That's a massive deficit of HP, and this is going to be the constant here now. Getting that cap started. Keep drawing Utopia in and getting a little bit more damage done, and I've got to say it, M44 is going to be put through its paces now. It's going to have to come up big. Papa better be landing these shells. You can see why Trackers is keeping on the move. He does not want that to happen.
Papa's actually been spotted. Outrun makes a shell. Don't think he did actually land it then, I think.
Oh my God.
Beautiful outplay by Outrun. And Papa goes down for artillery, and you know the relocation wanted to come in because it's not a particularly good artillery range, and because it's howitzer, it doesn't have good range across the map, so they needed to bring it forwards to hit the shells, and they didn't manage to do that. And Utopia now on the back foot once again, and they have to try and come back from this. This is the measure of their team.
Well, let's find out if they can do this one, and maybe pinning that strategy on that M44 could have been a mistake. However, let's see what the backup plan is here. They'll be meeting on the track lines, and Trakis, Wilk, Shell-Shocked, Free Kill, all coming together now. The 251's up to the north, the M44 and the Charioteer down to the south. 1390 on the way, a fairly even spread through and through. 4 minutes remain. And a bit of damage here and there, still tentative. We're not yet seeing a full push here, but you can see Free Kill now under a lot of fire. Polomako going low, Manza backing away. The damage in the center is huge. Bishu crests, goes for the shot, gets it,
could
but
die.
this is dangerous. Outruns just there, backs away. Polomako now goes in, hoping hopefully to get that kill. He doesn't. He left Manza alive. He dies for the cause, and it looks like we're going to that final map.
Ooh, outrun. Thought he would make the shell. I mean, that's not a particularly good move from him. He could have easily reloaded in like 10 seconds. He should have just gone for it, and Bishu would have fallen. But momentum is so far ahead in this game, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Utopia failed to get into the center, failed to get the cap, and Bishu left really on his own. Mucker on the other side of the map, making a mockery of his tactics, and Manza
God.
is going to be able to finish off Bishu. He is on reload, as he does just that, and Maka has already gone down. So 4-4, and we will be seeing the tiebreaker map, and one of the rare times we do get to see it, and I think it's deserved. Both these two teams are like, you know, a ping pong game. They're just going back and forwards constantly.
That's a very common analogy to use. A ping pong game.
Whatever.
It does the job.
Works.
All right, it does the job. It's back and forward, and as you said, it's all tied up now. Very close game through and through, and I think the main point is that everyone at home guessed this from the very start, that it was going to be this close. The amount of calls on Twitter and Facebook and in Twitch chat, just constantly thinking this was going to go all the way, and well, you've had your luck. But explaining what overtime is, because we haven't actually seen, well, not overtime, but going to the decided map, we haven't really seen it since we got back, have we?
No, we haven't seen it yet. Actually, no, we saw it during Leprechaun's school bus. Yeah.
Okay, so explain it very briefly, just in case.
So we're all tied up. Basically, it's a best of 9, so you have to get 5 rounds to take the 3 points. But it's 4 all, so that's not possible anymore to get the 3 points at least. So we move on to our third map. And that's going to be the decider map. The team that wins it will take 2 points instead of the 3. The team that loses it will get rewarded for playing so well, and they will pick up a point. So that's basically how it works. And it's very simple. Whoever wins this takes 2 points. Whoever loses it takes 1 point. And it's just a reward for how well these two teams have been playing.
Yeah, so, excuse me. A lot to be said there, a lot to be done, and I'm not sure about the deciding map. The thing is that we're going to have 2 teams who are extraordinarily close coming down to 1 round, basically, right?
Yeah, and it's decided, the map is decided by the team that's had the fastest attacking round.
Who do you
from
think
the
had
other
that?
from the other 8.
It's a guesstimate, though, but
well,
it's
been pretty close. I would have to give it to Mom, actually, I think.
yeah, I'm not too sure myself. Like, they've been fairly quick
Yeah.
with these two, so I'll have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, we're going to be going back to a very short break, so when we're back, we'll be kicking off with the decider map, so don't go too far away. Welcome back to the WGL EU. We are into our final deciding map or round. What should we call it?
Let's call it a round.
Let's call it a round. That sounds good. Deciding round, just to keep the excitement up, you know, or pretend you didn't hear that. Between Utopia and Momentum. It's gone all the way. A lot of you predicted that from the very start because you are a better analysis than him.
I said 5-3. It's pretty close.
It's not.
Whatever. Did anyone say that at home? Not sure. I think you're lying.
Alex, did anyone at home actually predict the 5-4 scoreline?
Good segue.
You're absolutely right, they did, actually. I'm going to get his name right now. We had a 5-4 prediction way back.
I really hope it's
I'm
horrifically
scrolling.
hard.
I'm physically scrolling to find this man's name.
Oh, the hard life. I'm scrolling.
Wow, I'm scrolling. You should have mouse acceleration on, like...
It was Dimitar. Dimitar, he's an
Okay.
avid
I remember
contributor.
it from,
Immediately, straight away, said
yeah.
5-4 Utopia.
Nice.
Fair enough. He's...
Yeah,
give him a
master
bonus
analyst.
code.
Give him a bonus code.
Good luck, Alex. You got to go find bonus codes now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Melly does. I'm just Mr. Melly. I don't do that.
I don't give out any fun or treats to people.
You have a humbug.
A humbug.
I haven't heard humbug in a while.
God, that's an
Oh
odd
yeah.
word.
Consider it's Christmas. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I
you
don't
didn't
know how
hear
many
it.
humbugs or weathers.
About a humbug.
Quite strange.
Anyway. Strange
Such strange
conversation
people.
aside. I don't know what's going on here.
No one
It's all
even knows
gone
what
wrong.
we're talking about.
No one does. But
Right.
they're here for the tanks, not us, which is the good thing because they remain the same to an extent.
Yes.
And as you said, the final deciding map. You lied to me.
Yeah, it's actually Himmelsdorf.
You lied so much.
I'm sorry.
You said Maravanka. It's
Yes,
Himmelsdorf.
it's Himmelsdorf.
Very
It
close.
was Miravanki yesterday, it's Himmelsdorf today.
There we go.
So-
Alrighty. So we are into the game. And in the south in red, it's Utopia. And I actually want to find out exactly what they're up to because that's not something we see every day.
No, they're all pushing up the hill and they got the double T29s heading up there, so the hull down
It's gonna
tanks
take a
as much
while.
as possible. Momentum actually had the fastest round here, so they decided the map, the side even. The fastest round was on Prokhorovka in just that last one, so they have gone to defense. That's 100% predictable. What's unpredictable is what they're doing there, going up the zero line, heading towards the zero line. At the moment is the best thing they can do because 3 tanks are heading their way from Utopia.
Let's see how this one pans out. This is like going back 2 seasons and seeing the banana line push with people on the hill. I don't know what's going on here. It's
I
all a
think
bit
that's the
confusing.
newest diet. I think that's what they want to go for.
Banana push.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly,
it?
exactly.
That sounds a little bit dirty.
Well, we've got Road, Banerjee and Free Kill and there's AMX 5100 basically just setting a trap, and as soon as Papa, Wicked and Hugo do decide to peek off that hill, it will be go time for them. But the thing is, if they go too quickly right now, it will be completely game over. Now they should go because the 3 tanks are pushing. McMoney, Bishu on the right side,
here
Mako,
we
Potomako
go.
in the middle, and let's see if this trap will work. And honestly, it will, I think.
Well, Bishu already takes a little bit off towards the centre. Hugo, Papa, Will
Here they
getting a
go.
little nervous. They get a free shell towards Lito and Trakis. Road burn. Freakle finally start the execute. They're going to be like, well, just fish in a barrel. Hugo goes down. Surely one more shell's going to do it. And there we go. Comes out from Free Kill. And this is a massacre, ladies and gents. Utopia are falling like flies. Somehow Lito and Trakis are still alive as well. Outrun and Manza creating the perfect crossfire. And this has gone terribly wrong. Finally, Lito and Trakis go down. But look at the numbers and look at that HP.
Perfectly sprung track from them, and they really gambled for that one, but they managed to make it work for them. Potomako not only is on low HP after that volley, but also is on fire trying to get out of that situation. 4 versus 5 right now in favor, of course, to Momentum and doing a little bit more damage, but Manza does get a little bit of damage there, and he's got to be careful because Mucker's around the corner. Road, Free Kill and Banerjee are on reload, but as soon as they come off that, I think it's going to be game over for Utopia.
Potomako on the run, waiting for reload. Free Kill now. Road will then down. Bishu being baited into the trap of Manza. Free Kill. Road take a shot, but actually Bishu delivers, and round the back outrun's going to just come off reload now. Bishu is in trouble. Gonna have a little bit of time before he can make the next shell. Bishu should be up, but Free Kill comes around, misses the shell. That's big. He should have hit that one. Doesn't get the second either. Now Outrun is gonna be made into mincemeat here. And now Utopia, they're putting up a fight, but the numbers are just so heavily against them.
Bishu actually doing a fantastic job, managed to getting away from that. Road actually have to come in the equation, but the two tanks remain now both on such a small amount of HP. Another bounce by Road onto Bishu, and Bishu, what a star, but I don't think it'll be enough as Road has still got plenty of shells to make it happen. Bishu falls, as does Poco, Mako, and that's pretty much game over. Victory does go to Momentum.
So well done as well. Momentum then just perfectly timing every piece of that puzzle, just slotting it into place. And as you said, it was all about timing and when they'd actually peak, when they'd push. And they just absolutely annihilated every single tank rolling off that hill.
Yeah, we saw actually a similar thing yesterday where it didn't work out for the team that decided to go for that weird kind of like push around. I think there was actually Drooling Leprechauns who went for that one. This time it did work. They just saw it. They saw the double T29. They saw that the T29s are great in that hold down because it's kind of like a piece of rubble at the bottom of that hill. You can put those tanks there and you can get some great shots. But look at the damage they do. Wicked falls within a matter of seconds, and Hugo is not soon after.
Yeah, it was just so much damage. They timed it well with the reloads. And bearing in mind, Rhodes only just received one shell. And that's because Papa finally put his attention there. That whole time, it was pure damage in favour to Momentum. So beautifully done. And it's nice to see Momentum able to take down the likes of Utopia, a team who were by a country mile at the top of the league at the very start.
Yeah, Utopia have been absolutely amazing. And I think that, you know, it's at the beginning of the, well, pretty much the whole season, we've seen Deep Tranquility being the only team that hasn't managed to pick up wins, hasn't managed to beat some other teams. But obviously that's been changed yesterday when they beat School Bus 5-0. And, you know, this really does signify that this league is the most fair we've ever seen it. Momentum getting besting Utopia, and Utopia getting bested by Momentum, despite the fact that they beat Evil Panda Squad in their previous match day. And it was amazing. I mean, Outrun in the KV2 did 1.5k damage in that last round with 3 shells. That's a fantastic work from him, of course, with that 150mm. And I hope that gives them a little bit more confidence when they play. I thought it was even, though. It could have gone both ways. You've got to remember, though, Utopia, they didn't necessarily gamble. They just tried to do something a little bit new, something we've seen before, though. Momentum did do that, and it did work out for them. They had all the cards, and they managed to play them correctly, and I think that's why they won it, and they deserve it, for sure.
Yeah, a great pick up there. And you guys at home were voting in your droves. Twitter, you were all active, and Alex was kept certainly busy. How are you doing over there? Was this the scoreline that they expected?
I think overall, people couldn't really call it. I think, yes, at the start, there was a lot more Utopia name than perhaps Momentum. But I think either way, people knew it was going to be relatively inseparable. And so with that all wrapped up now, and with a bow on it for Momentum, I think we can safely say that we're going to be going into a very short break. GG Well Played versus Wusa is going to be the game coming up next, which is something that I'm incredibly excited for. And you guys are at home, don't forget to keep voting. The voting is going to be open up until the game starts. As the first tank begins to roll, the voting will stop. But do be sure to vote, and that's over on our Facebook page. If you go to facebook.com/WGLEU, you'll be able to go over there, and you should see the first post, which has the link to the voting. So get over there for that one. Obviously, do be sure to get in contact with us on Twitter as well. Love hearing your responses and thoughts over on the hashtag WGLEU. Got an interesting thing from the same name, Impresnovi Kotek. I'm going to get better at that, I promise. Saying Papa's M44 was just clicking Momentum tanks to death. And that was in the 4-3 result. So, I mean, it's interesting to see that you guys kind of, I mean, you weren't expecting that result. I mean, I know there was a huge amount of Utopia kind of fans at the start, and Momentum managed to clinch it. So, all in all, very fun game for the first one, and do be sure to stick around for the next 2 games coming up after a bit of a longer break this time. So we'll see you in 10.